What's going on, guys? Bladezilla here, and today we're taking a look at a real cool one from Rob Johnson. This will be a cedar, and I just wanted to kind of show the box on this, how sick it is. You know, it's not normal that these knives do come with some pretty cool kind of packaging. And I figured, hey, you know what? I never show the packaging on just about most of the knives I do on this channel, and figured, hey, why not? So let's crack into this one, show you the knife, and kind of go from there. So it just slides open. Nice presentation, which is always appreciated. And then that's what we're talking about today. Pretty cool. So let's get this guy out of here and take a look here. There we go. There we go. First and foremost, and this is the first time I'm looking at it, first impression on this knife. She's a shiny one, that's for sure. Lots of, you can see the ISO or the camera's auto white balance is just kicking in and freaking out. So that's a sign of a real nice shiny knife. Cool pivot too. That's always cool. I love seeing this kind of detail work. Little mountain there. That's a nice touch. His logo. And like I said, this is going to be a shorter video. I didn't want to do anything crazy today. I just wanted to show the knife. I've never featured one of these on the channel, and just wanted to experience one for myself. So nice crosshatch milling, I think is what I'm seeing here. More kind of small diamond, I think is what this one is. Both sides, yeah. So like small diamond type milling, super grippy. Looks like we've got appears to be about a T10 or so on the pivot, as well as on the back end here behind the clip. That clip looks like it's attached internally. Okay, so let's give this its maiden flip here. So no pressure on the lock bar. I think that's important on the cedars, right? Just hold the clip and we'll try it out. Cool. Came out nice and easy. Wow, that blade's pretty special. Really reminds me of the Hog House Model T and how they did their milling on their blade. And looks like some lint on there or something, but very nicely done blade. Pretty cool. Looks like it was a stone wash, maybe a satin flat kind of on top, and they do a little finish work on it. Definitely really cool. Let's take a look at the other side on this. Really, really cool. I love when you, like, I know, like, that's not normal to kind of show the milling work down from, it feels like a hollow grind too. Kind of. Yeah, I'd say it's hollow. It's not normal to show those milling lines on a blade. They kind of actually try to get rid of that. But on some of them, they keep it, and it looks so good. I also want to point out just the shape of this blade. It's kind of got that top that's pinched in a little bit following the jimping. That's also pretty cool, right? So your thumb has a natural spot to rest past the jimping if you did want to go deep on it. That's also pretty cool. And let's take a look at that jimping. So pretty standard, not anything crazy. Kind of pinches in and then raises up at the top here, like I mentioned, and then goes down the center. Pretty nicely done. Let's take a look at this action. Silky, silky smooth, and fires out nice and easy. Beautiful knife. Let's take a look as well. We'll do the measurements and then kind of do a little walk around. I'm trying to do more of these videos on stuff that I don't typically see, and anytime a customer asks me to bring something in special like this, I'll try to give it 10 or 15 minutes. Just show the knife, talk about it, to see my first impressions. Like literally my first impressions are always kind of cool to kind of check out. So what are we looking at? 8.5 inches overall length. Blade length of 3 5/8 sharpened. It looks like maybe 3 3/4 to the center of the choil. I don't have a spec sheet on this knife as well, just keep that in mind. 4 5/8 on the handle, so good size. Really, really good size. We'll get a weight on it, may as well. Let's get a weight on this guy. Feels around 4 ounces-ish. Like, I swear, that's the second knife in a row, actually. 4.0. Well, it's also a nice even number, which doesn't really help my guess, but that's the second knife I've filmed in a row that I've actually got it within very, very close. And if you've watched the videos long enough, you know I'm like never anywhere close. So I'll take that. I'll take that as a win of the day right there. Take what you can get sometimes, right? Let's keep walking around this knife. Let's look at some of this really nice milling on that small diamond kind of, I guess you could call it small diamond crosshatch, whatever you want to call it. You know, the bend is on the top. The cutout is in the top of that knife, which looks really, really nicely done. But they also keep the patterning on the inside of that. And that's really cool. I like how the clip has a cutout. You know, not really necessary. Like, you could probably overhang it, but you'd probably end up getting stuff caught in there, and maybe that's the point of that. I'm guessing that's why they do that, but you don't see a cutout around the lock bar like that very often. And obviously, the key here is they're putting the weight of that clip onto the frame versus the lock bar. Maybe that's why. But nonetheless, looks cool. Looks very cool. Let's take a look at how that lock bar is attached. Or the lock bar is attached. Oh god, what am I saying? I'm filming this one fairly early in the morning, so I apologize. But, sorry. Let's see, do we got a screw on the inside here? How is that one attached? Am I missing something? It must be behind or beside the back spacer. Or, yeah, must be. That's interesting. I see no screw hole. Yeah, I don't see one on the inside here. Crazy. On the inside, let's take a peek with some, there's some nice milling work done on the inside, and I see a little bit of a Easter egg right on the inside. See that? Cedar. I see Cedar. I think it says 159. Just let the camera catch up to the freak out here. I think it says 159. I'd have to look at the camera. Remember, I'm looking at like a 1-inch screen or whatever, so I think it says 159, which is a nice little touch to kind of have that on the inside there. But the main thing here to look at is there's a lot of milling work done on the inside. I'd say more on the basic level on the milling side, just big pockets, not stepped or anything like that, but nonetheless, really cool to see. Balance is good, right behind the pivot. We do have a metal lock bar insert, which at this price point, I think these guys are around $1,500 US, somewhere in that conversation. Makes a lot of sense. Just nice and clean. Really, really nice and clean overall. I just love plain Jane tie. Honestly, like that, you know, as soon as, ooh, that's an interesting one. So the over travel stop, or the lock bar insert is the over travel stop, and it's kind of sunk into the frame like that. That's an interesting way of doing things. Normally that would kind of pull off and kind of go flush with the frame, so that's cool. And there's an inherent pressure on the lock at all times, I guess. It's got to be running on bearings. I'm not going to do it, but I assume you can thumb flick that. It's nice and easy to do so. And then reverse flick it. That's kind of the design here. I get kind of a little bit of Rosy vibes with this. Just kind of from just that cutout more than anything. So if we take a look at an Oz Roosevelt, there's some similarities here. Alright, is anyone else seeing these just on that cutout? Which is cool. Nothing wrong with either. But I am getting some vibes there. And people love the Rosy, right? So that's a nice little touch. Different design, different size completely. Obviously. But let's just take a look here. Size-wise on the Rosy. I still have yet to see a Rosy XL. If anyone has one that wants a video of theirs on the channel, let me know. I'd love to experience a Rosy XL. I've heard they're monstrous by comparison. In terms of others in this kind of size bracket, I could show you my Midnight as well. Super cool knife. And then I'll do the standard kind of Sebenza. Let's put this up here a little bit. The light's hitting it just right to get that beautiful blade popping off. There's my large Sebenza. and my small Sebenza. Grab those as well. Here you go. There's the two. So obviously errs more towards the size of the large. In fact, it's just about the same size as a large Sebenza. Little bit taller handle, but just different in the ergonomics, and just a little bit more technology, I'd say, just in the overall appearance. But really cool. I also really dig this up here. That kind of cutout for the flipper tab. Typically your flipper tab will sit out above the frame, right? So it's like, you know, what does Nick Shabazz call it? A pocket pecker. So usually it sticks out high, but they've kind of cut that down and countersunk a groove for it, so you can kind of really hide it. And then it fills up that spot with the blade. That's a nice little clever design feature, I must say. Really cool. Surprised you don't see that more. Nicely done. I'm not sure what blade steel this one uses, and I'm trying to look around as I'm doing the video to see if there's any inkling to that. I don't know. Like I said, I don't have any of the literature on this knife. Don't know anything about it. Really cool. It has to be on bearings. Feels a little too smooth to not be on bearings, but there you go. Nice backspacer as well. I guess the absent part on this knife would be that there's no lanyard hole, so if you're into that stuff, it wants to focus. If you're into lanyards, you know, there's not really an option here. Aside from, I suppose, I guess wrapping something around the pocket clip, which I've seen people do on, not this knife, but others, they just wrap it around there, but I wouldn't recommend that. You know what, in terms of ticking the boxes, this really, quality-wise, feels very much like a hog house. Just high-end millwork, but clever, thought out in a good way, and not, you know, good design when it's done really well. It's evident they thought about it, but they didn't overthink it, if that makes sense. So just well executed. I'd love to know if this is truly 159 of this knife. I'm curious to see, and I don't know much about Rob Johnson, but I'd be curious to see where they're gonna go from here, and what we're gonna see into the next iteration and beyond, because they've got a nicely done knife, very nicely done knife. And am I seeing this right? Is there a logo on that lock bar insert? Are you guys seeing this right in here? Or am I, the light bouncing around? Do I see like two little peaks in there? That is cool, if that's what it is. That would be very IG worthy. Cool knife. Definitely have to get used to, because my finger really wants to go further on this clip where that hole is right here. It wants to kind of go there. So it might take me a little getting used to kind of find that spot as such. Very much like a Shiro, where you can't put any pressure on the lock bar. But nice and cool. And that's very biased, right? I'm a very biased Shiro guy, and for me the pocket clips on Shiro are just about perfect, right? Right down the middle typically. And this one's a little higher, so it just feels a little different from what I'm used to, but nicely done. Well executed knife. Glad I got to experience it and show it to you guys. This one will not be on the site, but you know, appreciate you. You know who you are that provided it, so I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to show this to you guys. I guess I didn't even mention, check out bladezilla.ca for more. There we go, just threw up some Shiro Astrums, M390 finally to productions, which is exciting, and the orange F3 Alatex. A bunch of other stuff from ProTech coming, as well as obviously the normal Microtex and Heridex, and I think I've got some Koenigs coming as well. So lots of cool stuff coming. So always stay tuned. Follow me on IG. Follow me on Facebook now. I've got a group there, and TikTok as well. So there you go. And then clearly, if you're watching this, you're on YouTube, which is kind of my bread and butter is YouTube. So yeah. Thanks guys for checking this out, and if you have any questions, leave them below. Otherwise, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And until next time, we'll see you later. Peace.